Welcome to Squirrel, the podcast for distracted writers, hosted by Candace J. Thomas and Jody L. Milner. Hey everybody, this is Jody and
I'm Candy.
And today we are doing episode 20 and we are talking all about the scammy underbelly of the writing world. It's not that bad.
I said my name like I was disgusted with
I
this
know,
topic.
right? Dude.
I'm not.
Get excited.
I love writing contests. Well, 2 point.
You could have brought your trophy.
You too, actually.
I know, right? We should have.
That's okay. Nobody can see it. So it's all right.
It would live forever in the blog.
Just know that we have some pretty cool trophies for writing.
So the term award-winning author, it sounds kind of nice, doesn't it? Like, awards are the social proof that our product has impressed someone, or does it? So today we want to talk about the hows and the whys of entering writing contests and help you get a better picture of why it may or may not be a good idea. So I want to dive into the writer beware section first.
That's fine.
Because
I get it.
I think this is important to talk about. I think a lot of people don't realize.
It should be the first thing you know. Because if you don't know anything about contests, you're going to just see these contests and just start entering. So, yes, start with the beware part. Go for it.
Okay, so there are very, very intelligent but scammy people that have found a wonderful way of making themselves a lot of money. And what they do is they will list a contest for writers, and a lot of writers really want validation. And so it's very grabby for them to get the Writer Extravaganza of the Year award. I just made that title up. If it exists, then
you just won it.
I just won. And they'll make a really pretty website, and then maybe they'll fake some testimonials, and like they'll put an entry fee on it, with the idea of attracting all of these kind of vulnerable writers to give them money. And there's no guarantee that anything is going to happen. And that's how these businesses do really well. And so one of the things they'll do is they'll create a random feedback that's kind of like fortune cookie feedback that you could just kind of give to anyone. And they give everybody feedback, and they give everybody a small cash win, but it's less than what that entry was.
Gotcha.
And so
that is scummy.
Isn't that tricky?
Yeah.
And so it's this brilliant business model.
If I didn't have a spine,
I know.
This would absolutely be something I would.
Me and my ethics.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, my stupid integrity.
Oh, no. And so there's enough of them that writers are trying to protect other writers. So there are places where you can look up how legitimate some contests are. And so there are multiple websites that we've found that did have some helpful places to look. I do like the one from SFWA, that is the Science Fiction Writers Association.
Yes.
They are writer advocates through and through.
Yeah.
And so I do trust anything they put on their page. They do have a page just for contests that is in their writer beware section. And so if you do want to learn more about these scammy practices, that is an excellent place to look for information.
SFWA, I mean, we can put this on the blog, but SFWA, if people don't know what it is, it's the Science Fiction Writers Association.
I just said that.
No, you didn't.
I did. It was amazing.
I wasn't listening.
You'll listen to the listen to the recording later.
Yeah, I guess so. So the stuff that I found this old article, like a bunch of old articles that were like, watch out for this and watch out for that. But I don't know if
some of
any
the practices like are still out there because there's a new group of writers every single year that are going to fall for it. Young or old, like there's things about that like about each of these contests that make you feel like it's a great idea. And so we do have a tiny list of things to look for that might indicate that you're looking at a scammy contest.
Yes.
And so I mentioned kind of this before, but having kind of a high entry fee. So there's some reputable ones that it's a really high entry fee.
Yeah. I entered the Benjamin Franklin Awards.
And that one's pricey.
That one is very expensive. And I didn't.
That one's just for independent publishers, correct?
Independent yes, exactly. Okay. It's like an indie award, but it's done through the independent book publishers.
Oh, that's through IBPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's a reputable award. I was very close to winning it. But that doesn't matter. I did not.
Half a gold star.
I know, right? I just get a Ben right there. I didn't even get the whole Franklin. So
I don't know. A Ben is $100. A Benjamin? I'll take a couple Benjamins. Okay, so look for high entry fees that don't seem like they're linked to anything. Look for what they're offering for the winners, because sometimes if they're like, your prize is being included in this fantastic publication, and it turns out the publication is like a webzine, or like they're like, oh, I was published in a webzine. Yes, there are good webzines out there. There's also 8 million really low budget ones that have no bars for entry. And so
I keep on getting targeted because of where my author status and my author emails. I get a lot of just enter your story into this book publisher thing and you'll just automatically get an award or something.
The second the world knows that you're interested, you will be solicited.
Yeah, I get so many of those all the time, and I don't enter any of them because I don't trust them. I don't know where they come from.
If they're soliciting you, chances are
they're
even probably a little scammy.
They just saw my author being in part of my email, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's just message this."
So, like, one of the other red flags is if they force you to buy the publication that you just got awarded to be in. They're like, you can have a copy of this for $20 for the first one and $10 for each additional.
Oh, wow.
For buying your own copies for exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah, no. And when I have won a few like contests, short story contests that were added to anthologies, and I got a book for free.
Yeah, you should get one for free. You're the contributor.
Yeah.
You're the product, not the customer. So if you're the customer, this is probably a scam.
Yeah.
Also, the last one is if it's run by a private individual versus like a literary organization or a company. Gotcha. So if it's got a bigger company behind it, chances are it's more reputable than, Bob Jones's literary contest. That's actually my neighbor's name. Sorry, Bob.
That was anybody's name, but you just named your neighbor.
I like Bob.
Bob Jones is anybody's name.
You're
That's generic.
Right. I was going to use the other generic name,
but no, that you, I'm going to make you this award.
Yay!
The Bob Jones Literary Award.
I dare you.
Totally
all right, so finding a good contest. How do you find a good contest? We'll go into that in a minute.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Something wicked this way comes. From the shadows of your mind, where nightmares dance and play, comes a collection of tales that will scare and delight. Featuring 27 stories, poems, and flash fiction pieces, all geared toward kids and inspired by the tone and feel of R.L. Stine's Goosebumps. With stories from amazing horror authors around the world, this anthology is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. So grab a flashlight, pull up the covers, and prepare to be scared. Just be careful what you wish for. The Big Book of Things That Go Bump in the Night, coming November 14th from Timber Ghost Press, the place where you can find your next creepy, weird, and disturbing read.
When you push the right button.
You did not need to say that, you silly thing.
Sorry, it felt weird.
Okay. Good reputation contests.
So, honestly, we kind of did say this before, but find a resource that you trust. Readsy, we can trust.
I love
Sifwo,
Readsy.
we can trust. There's Poets and Writers, The Right Life. Like, all of these are publications or corporate companies that have been around for a really long time. long enough to establish a reputation, and they will put out contest lists regularly, if not every year. And those will be all vetted, and they'll have feedback, and a lot of times they'll give some kind of what to expect from them. So that, I think that's the best way of finding ones. The other way that I think is not the worst option is look in your genre at book listings and see what they list as things that they've won.
Okay.
So, like, if you look at the top 10 books in the genre you're trying to publish in, and of all of those top 10s, 4 of them have the same contest, then it might be worth looking into, or it might be really scammy and they all fell for it. But chances are that those might be legitimate ones.
Yeah, when I organizations, there's writing organizations everywhere, and they will often have contests, like the Romance Writers Association, something like that.
Yeah, RWA.
Yeah, they have a romance contest, and this is one thing that they put out to anybody, and it's good for them because they can find talent that way. You know, some of the publishers will monitor or watch or judge or whatever. They're the ones that see the talent, and they might, contact you from this or that. So I thought that was pretty cool when you're looking in contests. And we have, let's see, there's the local contests that we have done. That's where our awards come from.
So yes, both Candy and I won a significant award from our local writing organization. So if you are in Utah, there's one called the League of Utah Writers. We might have mentioned it a few times on this podcast.
No, but
they do have a contest every year, and they get outside judging, usually from a different state, to do the entries. And so the judging is legit. The feedback is legit. And so
it's good to have for contests, I think it's important for them to list where they're getting who is doing the judging. Because if you don't know, sometimes it could just be a handful of neighbors that are getting together just reading this stuff. I know that is something that has happened, where they don't have the judges. And if you're not, paying a good resource or using some kind of good resource, then the feedback that you're getting is not going to be quality, which you need.
Yeah, well, and if you have one reader that doesn't like your genre and they're assigned to do your work, and then your competitor has a judge that really likes his genre, they're going to weigh the scores way differently on perhaps something that had equal merits. And so it's really hard to get fair, unbiased judging for a lot of these. And so when they make an effort to make that happen, I do appreciate that a lot.
I'll mention that on the same line. So the feedback that I got from my Ben Franklin was I did my audiobook. And one of the things that they have all these judging critiques, and a lot of them just loved it. But then there was this one person that didn't get it, just didn't get my book, which you're going to get. You're going to get judges that don't understand your story.
Just
don't read it.
Judges.
I said judges. I've bit my lip, so it's a fat right there. Thanks for pointing that out.
Story, sorry.
Judges that won't really agree with your story or won't get it. And that's unfortunate because then you don't get an award.
Yeah. Well, and if you're going to use the term award-winning writer, I think the award needs to be something that's nationally recognized. And that is going to be a lot in personal judgment, whether it's nationally recognized or not. And so what you don't want to do is be saying, like, you won Reflections in high school, therefore you are an award-winning writer, and you put that on your bio. And then if anyone looks into that and finds out that that's actually what you're saying, it doesn't turn out good for you. So do be careful in using that term unless you do have something that you can share that you're proud of that hopefully is nationally recognized. If not, at least your state level but smaller wins, do be careful.
So I want to ask, do you think that contests are worth it?
I think it is really good validation for writers who are trying to figure out if they have something to say that the world's going to like, and they want to get out in the market and they want feedback, and that's one of the options that's easier for them to find. And so I think it helps bolster confidence. I think it helps, like all contests have deadlines. So I think it helps with building those professional skills of getting something done in time for a deadline, giving extra pressure to finish, getting the feedback is good. So I think as a opportunity to push people to finish things and be brave and to submit is very valuable, even if you don't win anything.
Agreed. I think that contests have a place because you need to create a resume, basically. You need to get some credits for agents or publishers to start to take you seriously. I think that even when you get even magazine article that you can put down as, here's my query letter and here is this, I won this award or I did this, is valuable because that it starts a conversation, at least, so that they see that you have been recognized by other people, not just them.
Well, especially if you're exploring a traditional route, having something to put in your bio that proves that you know what you're doing is helpful. And so having something there as opposed to having nothing there, yeah, definitely.
Do you have any bad writing contest experience?
So there's the awkward ones. I run one of my local chapters of this organization, and we ran a local contest. And while we did do independent judging, I had to list the winners. And can I tell you how awkward it is when you win and you have to announce your own winners?
Oh,
it's not my favorite.
Never had the joy of doing that.
You need to join my chapter. You do well. We haven't done a contest for a while, probably for that reason, because I'm still in charge. Mm-hmm. And not entering is not being a team player when it was supposed to be something to help build a teamwork where we all wrote something, we all critiqued each other's work, and then we all did contest and feedback.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any bad contest experience because I haven't really entered a lot beyond the expensive Ben Franklin's that I still weeped today that I didn't get it. Or that I didn't get that, but
well, I try to be pretty careful about not entering something that looks fishy at all. And I also don't like spending a lot of money to enter something that I don't think I'll have a chance at. Although I've entered a couple things that went nowhere and gave me no feedback, and I was kind of sad because it wasn't like the stuff I was writing wasn't my brand. I couldn't repurpose it, and so a lot of that was just wasted time.
I did want to. One of the things I wanted to bring up about contests, though, is that every single thing is judged. So it's not just your creative story; it's also your punctuation. It's also your writing mechanics. And a lot of people don't think about that. They're like, "I've got this great story, and here is all this stuff." But if you don't have it, well done, that will count. Even if you have a brilliant story. You still get
points if you have typos.
Yeah, it's the rubric that they're using, and that still counts for 10 points, and that's going to knock you down. So just something to think about. Even their spelling, just make sure your document's nice and clean.
Honestly, if you don't use the font they prefer, they will dock you points.
Oh no, listen to whatever they want. Yes, if you have to do 12-point, Times Roman, you better do it. Yeah. Double spaced, all the things. If you don't follow it, they won't even look at it. They'll just
Well, and that goes the same for query letters. If the people you're querying have very specific guidelines and you're not following them, they're like, this is someone who's not going to follow directions. we don't want to work with them. So it's good practice to learn what people want in their submissions, and contests are great practice.
Great. Okay, practical advice.
Practical advice. I think the contests are excellent to boost works you've either already created or are already kind of part of your brand that you want to go out and get more validation for. I don't think it's a great place to be like, ooh, I saw this thing that has a contest and it has this really weird prompt, and I think I can write something for that. And then like 2 months later, you've written a story that's not your brand, and it didn't do anything, and you've lost 2 months and you don't get anything in return. And then you can't really use it for anything else.
Yeah.
So only do stuff that really excites you, that's also true to your writer brand.
Yeah. My only advice, honestly, is it's scary to enter contests. But it's important to make sure that you get past that anxiety to have other people look at your stuff and read your stuff. And
if you have submission anxiety, like, this is a low cost barrier to get over that.
Yeah. I don't want to say this too loudly, but as an author, you have to build thick skin. Mm-hmm. What you write is no longer yours. It's out into the world, and people will use it and as if it's theirs. Now they've owned this book. They read this book. These characters are now theirs. And if there are going to be people that don't like it, period. And it's the same kind of thing when you're doing writing contests. There are going to be people that aren't going to like it. And that's okay, but it's good to try. If you don't try, you'll never know. And you got to get over that anxiety that this is my precious baby. I don't want anyone to read it. People need to read it. Because if you want to be successful, you have to have other people read your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
make it a game.
Sure.
Create yourself a bingo card, and every time you do something that's a little bit out of your comfort box, you get to check off something.
Okay.
And then get yourself a Snickers.
Okay. I like your encouragement. Did you?
I like my encouragement. Thank you.
My final encouragement is I just want to make sure that everyone, if you enter a big contest and there is an award ceremony, you should just attend it, because you don't want to be the person that wins the big prize and isn't there. Just saying.
Candy is totally not speaking from personal experience.
I am totally speaking from personal experience. If you get Book of the Year, you better attend. That's all I have to say.
It is nice to be there when you get it.
Oh, it was so good to see your little face all light up in surprise.
When you cried a little bit.
You did cry.
I cried.
It was good. All right. Next episode, we've got, this is mine.
Yep.
We're going to talk about winterscapes, because, it's where we are, it's cold and snowy and, seasonal. we're going to talk about, once we get into this like December, almost Christmas holiday vibe, we're going to talk about snow.
Yay. It's a winter wonderland.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed anything you heard and you'd like to support us, we do have a Patreon. We also, brand new this week, we have started a Buy Me a Coffee. If you would like to just give us a little tip in our little virtual tip jar, we do have that set up. You can find information in the description and on our website, which is thesquirrelpodcast.com.
That is so much fun.
That's
so much fun. I love it. All right.
Until next week, this has been The Squirrel Podcast.
Good job, Jody.
Woo!
Thank you for listening to The Squirrel Podcast for the Distracted Writer with Candace J. Thomas and Jody L. Milner. This episode was recorded at the Farmhouse Recording Studio. Please like and subscribe to our podcast for updates and new episodes, and find more information at our website, squirrelpodcast.com. Stay distracted, everyone.
We're all dorks.
I can't believe you did that.
I wasn't thinking.
I love how the swear word just like, oh.